God bless you. This is Pastor Sharon, and welcome to Nourishment for Your Soul. Today, we're going to talk about the strong man of rejection. And we touched on it briefly before, but I just want to go into it a little bit more to give a better understanding of what rejection is and how rejection can be a stronghold and a strong man. So I'm going to take our scriptures from Matthew 12, verses 43 through 45, and then Luke 11, verses 24 through 26. And I'm going to start off with Matthew. I'm going to start off with Matthew, and actually they basically say the same thing, but there is one difference that I want you to pay attention to. So that's Matthew chapter 12, and it's starting at verse 43, and I'm reading today from the English Standard Version. And it says, "When the unclean spirit has gone out of a person, it passes through waterless places seeking rest, but finds none. Then it says, I will return to my house from which I came. And when it comes, it finds the house empty, swept, and put in order. Then it goes and brings with it 7 other spirits more evil than itself, and they enter and dwell there. And the last state of that person is worse than the first. Also, will it be with this evil generation?" Now, I want to point out the fact that Yeshua said, also, will it be with this evil generation? That's what I want to point that out to you. Okay, so I'm just going to underline that in my Bible. I'm going to go to Luke chapter 11, verse 24. And Luke 11:24 says, "When the unclean spirit has gone out of a person, it passes through waterless places, seeking rest and finding none. It says, I will return to my house from which I came. And when it comes, it finds the house swept and put in order. Then it goes and brings 7 other spirits more evil than itself, and they enter and dwell there. And the last state of that person is worse than the first." So Luke 11:24 through 26 talks about the state of the house. Now, I just want to make it clear so everyone understands that your body, your physical body, is the house, okay? This is where the temple of God lives if you have given your life to the Lord, and it's also where spirits can dwell. And I know everybody keeps trying to tell me that a Christian can't have a demon, but you know what? That's a lie. So let's just stop it, okay? That is a lie. And the reason why I say it's a lie is because where did those spirits go before you got saved? They just walked away? I'm just asking. Did they walk away when you gave your life to the Lord, when you recited the sinner's prayer? What happened to those spirits? Nothing. They stayed there. Because spirits don't want to leave. Okay? Evil spirits don't want to leave a body. That's why people can continue to sin and be saved. Okay? It's also a mindset, a stronghold, and it's also demonic influence. And the demonic influence comes from out here, but as well as in here. So, hopefully, I can bring a little bit more clarification to this. Because we need to understand what we are up against. Okay? Now, I want to talk about the strong man of rejection. Rejection is a spirit, right? It's a strong man, right? And rejection does not come by itself. When a person feels rejected, if they've been rejected by a loved one, a spouse, a mother, a father, a teacher, a cousin, anybody, when a person encounters rejection, if they are not able to rebuke that mindset, if they're not able to overcome that situation of rejection, this is what could happen, okay? And this can happen to anyone, saved or unsaved. So let's just cut it out with that, okay? First of all, if you have allowed the spirit of rejection to enter your body, okay, through your mind, through that situation, this is what can happen to you. Unforgiveness. And I'm actually, these are tormenting spirits. So I'm going to actually list these spirits for you. Unforgiveness. See, when someone rejects you, you don't want to forgive them for what they've done. You get yourself in a place of unforgiveness. Oh, they hurt me. I don't want to forgive them. Unforgiveness. Unforgiveness is a spirit, okay? And it's a spirit that dwells in your body if you do not address it, okay? That's how Christians can have evil spirits, because I can't tell you how many Christians I have encountered who have the spirit of unforgiveness or the spirit of rejection, okay? Now let's talk about the spirit of fear. I'm going to read some definitions to you. Fear is the belief that something is dangerous or will cause harm to you. Okay? So now, if this person has been rejected, they turn to unforgiveness. They're not going to forgive the person or the situation that rejected them. Now they're fearful of other people who may reject them. Okay? Now anger. Anger is a strong feeling of displeasure. So now we got the strong man, which is rejection. It opened the door, okay, to fear. And now anger. And anger is a strong feeling of displeasure. Anger is when you see that person, you just boil inside. When you hear their name, you just get so upset because they rejected you. Because now you have fear, and now you have anger. Fear is somebody else who's like this person who will reject you or hurt you. So now we got unforgiveness, because you don't forgive them for hurting you. You got fear, and now you got anger. That's 3 spirits, okay? Plus rejection. So now we got strife. Now strife is anger or bitter disagreement. And this is like over fundamental issues. Very interesting with strife. Strife is what you have in families. Families have strife. Strife is a disagreement in relationships. That's strife. Then we have bitterness. Bitterness is anger or disappointment. And another thing about bitterness, bitterness also identifies with one of the 5 senses, and that's taste, right? Isn't that interesting? So now your taste has been bound or blocked because of your experience. Okay, so your taste in life, your taste in people, your taste. I used to like to do this, but because Marie does this, I don't like to do it no more. Because Marie, she said she was my friend, but now she ain't my friend. Bitterness. That's bitterness. Okay. Stagnation. Now you notice when there are people who have been rejected and they have unforgiveness and they got fear and they got anger and strife and bitterness, they're in a stagnated part of life. They, you can talk to them about what happened to them and it sounds so fresh. And then you ask them, well, how long ago did this happen? And they say, about 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago. See, their mind is stagnant in that situation that happened, and they don't go forward. They don't grow. They don't do any of those things. Definition of stagnation is blocked, lack of activity or growth. Okay? And then here, this is my 7th one. Resentment. Resentment is bitter indignation at having been treated unfairly. So now you're resentful. Resentful of that person, resentful of the situation, resentful toward others. And I just want to say, these are the ones that make up a stronghold. They make up this person's mindset, okay? Other spirits can follow. And other spirits can dwell. But these are the ones, because, see, the Bible says, and you saw it yourself, that when a spirit comes and finds the body nice and clean, and it can enter, how can it enter, though? See, it has to have a reason to enter. Something has to happen for this spirit to enter into this house. What happened? Did this person fall into rejection? Did this person, because any of these spirits can turn around and be a strong man. Any of them. But right now we're just talking about the strong man of rejection. Because when a person's rejected, it opens the door wide for these type of spirits to enter, plus others. Because see, now here's sickness can enter. Cancer can enter. And yes, cancer is a spirit. All of these can open more doors for like, okay, for example, spirit of anger. Spirit of anger can turn into spirit of murder. Okay? You so angry you want to kill somebody. All right? So as believers, we're going to have to take things and really read our Bible and really understand what God is talking about, okay? Because I want you to know something. This Bible here is not written to unbelievers, okay? It's written to believers. So if it says here in Luke 11, 24, 26, he's talking about believers, okay? He's talking about believers can have spirits, okay? And the interesting thing that I say about this, and this is what I wanted you to underline, and that was in, actually that was in Matthew 12. In Matthew 12, it talks about, he says here, this is verse 45. Then it goes and brings with it 7 other spirits more evil than itself. Okay, so now we talking about 8 spirits making up a stronghold in this person's mind, making it very difficult for them to see anything any differently. And if you have this type of stronghold, you cannot hear God. You can't. How? It's impossible, because this rejection is always repeating in your mind what happened. Unforgiveness chips in, and they say, oh, well, you're not going to forgive her for what she did to you. You're not going to forgive him for what he did to you. You're not going to forgive them for what they did to you. It repeats in your mind over and over and over again, and hardens your heart, and you can't hear God. You can't. And then what does the word of God say? Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So now you're going to speak those things out. Speak out bitterness. Speak out unforgiveness. Speak out rejection. You're going to reject others because you've been rejected. You're going to speak out fear because you're afraid of rejection. You're going to speak out anger. It's something that we have to, when we're studying our Bible, take this Bible as serious, okay? This is real word. This is the truth about life today. And what I said, what I wanted to point out was 7 other spirits more evil than itself, and they enter and dwell there. They enter, they go in, and they stay. Dwell means to stay. And the last state of that person is worse than the first. So also will it be with this evil generation. So God is talking about what's going to be in this evil generation. Now, we have said that this is an evil generation, right? So what you think is going on now? And what you think is going on for everyone? The spirit of rejection. The spirit of rejection is taking over. The spirit of rejection is bringing in strongholds into people's minds, changing their focus. There's some people who feel that they've been rejected by God because they didn't get what they wanted. They didn't get their way. So they feel they've been rejected by God. So now they're in unforgiveness with God. And, people say, oh, it's okay to be mad at God. Let me tell you something. God is not your pet. He's not your best friend. He is the king of the universe. Okay. So if you have a problem with God, guess where you need to look first? In you. You the problem, not him, but you are the problem. So you need to rectify what your issue is, because people think that God is supposed to be a genie. Okay. You don't pay no attention to him. You don't worship him. And even if you do, and God forbid something happens in your family, you got to deal with it. Okay. Doesn't he know best? If you say you trust him, and we sing all these songs about how we trust the Lord, and something happens, you're going to have to deal with it. Okay. You're going to have to reconcile. Okay, God, this happened to me and I didn't like it. It hurt my feelings. I was disappointed. Whatever the situation is, can you explain to me, what am I supposed to do next? Why this happened to me? What happened? I mean, seriously, we're going to have to put on our big boy and girl underwear. Okay. And stop playing this game that God owes us something. He owes us absolutely nothing. He died on that cross and gave us everything he was going to give us. Now it's time for us to owe him. You understand what I'm saying? Now it is time for us to be the people that he died for. And you can't do that if you're stuck in a mindset of rejection. You can't do it if you're stuck in a mindset of unforgiveness, a mindset of fear. These are tormenting spirits. So tormenting means you can't sleep at night. Tormenting means you lose weight. Tormenting means you develop physical issues. That's what tormenting demons do. So there's also a passage in the Bible that I didn't pull up, and I don't remember exactly where it is, but it talks about how this servant went to the king. And he owed the king billions of dollars, okay? And the king was like, I'm going to throw him in jail because I want my money. And he ain't going to be able to pay me, so I'm going to put him in jail. And the man, the servant, went to the king and begged for mercy. He begged him, please, 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 don't put me in jail. I'll pay back everything, knowing there was no possible way he could pay anything. And the king said, you know what? Listen, since you came to me this way, you humbled yourself and you came to me, I am going to pardon you and you're not going to have to pay me back. You can go free. That's what the king did. So now the servant finds somebody who's his peer and says to his peer, you owe me. Pay me what you owe me. Otherwise, I'm going to have you locked up. And guess what? He did. And when the king heard about it, he went to that servant and said, you owe me 1,000,000 times what this person owes you. Okay, we talking about unforgiveness right here. And I set you free. And you jailed your peer. You going to jail now. And you're going to go in darkness, and there'll be weeping and gnashing of teeth, tormenting spirits. That unforgiveness is something else. That right there is a whole lesson in being a stronghold, unforgiveness. So I just want you to understand that, yes, a believer can have a demon. These are demons. Demonic spirits. Unforgiveness, rejection, fear are demonic spirits, okay? Anger, strife, bitterness, stagnation, resentment. And let me just talk to you a bit about anger. I'm not talking about like somebody just made you mad and you angry for a second and you let it pass. That's not the anger I'm talking about. I'm talking about every time you hear this person's voice, you just turn beet red and you boiling and you so mad and you so angry. And every time you hear about this person, you just get so angry and you go off on a tangent. That's the anger I'm talking about. The definition of unforgiveness is unwilling or unable to forgive someone for hurting, betraying, or breaking your trust. That's the definition of unforgiveness. And unforgiveness is the one that calls the tormentors. See, that's why the spirit of rejection always calls for unforgiveness. If there's somebody who's dealing with rejection, I guarantee you 1.5%, 1,000,000. This person has unforgiveness. Period. That's the main underliner. Unforgiveness. So, when we're dealing with people and ourselves, especially first and foremost when you're dealing with yourself and somebody has rejected you, immediately rectify and reconcile that thing. Cast down that spirit of rejection. Do not allow rejection to dwell in your heart. Do not allow unforgiveness to enter, or fear, or anger, or strife, bitterness, stagnation, or resentment. Don't allow these spirits to enter into your heart. Don't allow it. Because let me tell you something. Entering is easy. Exiting is very hard. Okay? Very, very hard. And some people, they don't come out of it. I'm going to tell this story, and I've told it before. I was in ShopRite. It was early one morning. Very early. I had to take my son to school. It was very early. And I had to go pick up some snacks for him. So I was in the store. I go to the store, and there's this woman waiting for a cab. And I'm in there real early. This was a 24-hour ShopRite. So it's got to be before 6 in the morning. In this town, I know that the cabs don't run at 6 in the morning at all. Okay? They don't start till at least 8. So this lady's out here, and I just felt the Lord say, give her a ride home. I was like, oh boy. Okay, I'm going to give her a ride home. So I asked her if she needed a ride. She took the ride. Okay, and I drove her to this very nice area around the corner from my house. Beautiful area. I was like, okay, all right, I'm comfortable with this. This lady's living in a beautiful area. You know, she's not that much of a threat. I'm all right with that. We pull up to her house, and her house is the worst house on the block. So I'm helping her with her groceries, and I'm just saying, just nothing. I'm glad to help you, blah, blah, blah. And she goes, do you know what my husband did to me? I'm like, oh my God, what did he do? She gives me a whole hour speech now, telling me what her husband did. And I'm saying to her, oh my God. I said, well, when did this happen? And she, she told me 26 years ago. 26 years. She told me detail by detail like it happened yesterday. This woman was in unforgiveness. And not only was the unforgiveness inside her house, her body, it was on her house. Her house was broken down and dilapidated, like for no reason. I mean, it was like, I was like, oh my God, like they should have bulldozed this house down. She goes and tells me this is the house her and her husband bought together, da 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 da, and he ran off and da da da. All of this stuff, unforgiveness. She couldn't move forward. She had been bound in this cage for 26 years and could not move forward. And so I'm trying to talk to her a little bit about, well, that's been happening. This man has started a whole new family. They all in college, all grown, all their own lives. And this woman is living in a tormenting hell because she refuses to forgive. So she couldn't hear me because, bitterness and stagnation had her ears like this. So she couldn't hear the word I said. So I got in the car and I was like, God, what are you talking to me about? What is this about? What happened here? What did I just experience? And the Lord was showing me, because see, I'm telling you what I experienced, that this will be your life if you don't learn to forgive your ex-husbands. I said, oh, wait a minute now. Hold it. I'm going to get this right. And I've been through a lot with mine, okay? I've been through a lot with my exes. But this last one, honey, let me tell you something. I wrote down on a piece of paper everything I thought that person had done to me. And I, one by one, forgave each and everything and myself, because I'm not going to be stagnant. And I want that to be your stand on it, that you're not going to be stagnant, that you're not going to allow your life to waste away to nothing, that you're not going to put yourself in prison because of rejection, unforgiveness, fear, anger, strife, bitterness, stagnation, and resentment. Don't let it happen to you. We serve a God who is mighty. He died on that cross and he rose again so you can be free. Be free. Take the key and be free. Take the key and be free. I'm going to pray right now. Father, in the name of Yeshua, the Messiah, the King of Kings and Lord of Lords, God Almighty. Father, I lift up each and every listener right now, Father. And I ask, oh God, that you would give them a mindset to forgive. A mindset, Father, not only to forgive, but Father, a mindset to forgive rejection, to forgive things that people have done to them, Father. I ask right now, Lord, that they would move on, God, that their heart would be softened, Father, that they would be in a place, Lord, that they can realize, Lord, that you are good and you are merciful, Lord. And if they forgive, oh God, that you would just do magnificent things in their life, oh Lord, in the name of Yeshua, the Messiah. Amen. God bless you. Thank you for watching. Let's talk about it. Have a beautiful week.